Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity Series here on All Pro Broadcasting. Hello again, race fans. I'm Gabriel Wood, alongside me, Robert McFarland and Michael D'Amica, as always, here at Pocono Raceway. It is going to be a good race. It's going to be a tough race. 32 drivers so far have practiced, and we're getting ready to head to qualifying, Robert. It's going to be a tough one because these drivers, this setup combined with the cold temperatures here in Pocono, it's combining for what has been described, especially by Ray Richer, as dancing with chainsaws on a unicycle while on a treadmill. It's pretty icy out there.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gabe, these new cars, this new Xfinity package here at Pocono, it's going to be pretty exciting and it's going to be challenging, but that's what we like to offer to the Domino's TYJ Racing Series, including this one, the Premier Xfinity Series. You are watching fans of the Premier Pioneer 200 from Pocono Live and All Pro Broadcasting. Real quick, Gabe, this is our throwback week, fans. If you missed the race last night in the trucks, you missed a lot of great paint jobs. You're going to see a lot of great throwback paint jobs tonight. Gabe is an expert in NASCAR history. He'll be able to give you all the details, information on most all these paint jobs with throwbacks. And we're just thankful for the drivers doing the work to get a throwback paint job. And fans, of course, we're thankful for you too. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll give you the details on the free pizza giveaway here in just a minute.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, while we're riding around here during qualifying, let's follow along with Mark Jackson in the number 3. Usually, in the Truck Series race last night, he ran a Goodrich paint scheme for the late Dale Earnhardt. This time, to another late driver, the late Davey Allison, who you remember had great success here and also great defeat here as he got caught up in a almost career-ending accident toward the end of his racing career, toward the end of his life, but he ended up recovering from it and became really the racing legend that we didn't get to know all that much, but he's got a tribute to the late Davey Allison on that number 3 machine as he comes around turn number 2 here on lap number 1, 172 miles an hour on the exit of that second corner into turn number 3 and into turn 4. The exit here at Pocono. Remember, he's staying half a lane up. It's really icy there on the bottom in turn 3, so they're going to have to watch out as Mark Jackson comes to the line this time and see what he can get. He was 13th in practice, picks up 5 thousandths of a second, half a second, and goes to provisional pole so far, beating out third place practicer Gary Sexton. So Mark Jackson in a good position here at Pocono as he completes, as he's going to go around for lap number 2. Let's go ahead and go over your points. Dustin Lee still in the race lead after 10 races, even though he's only raced 9. He is 11 points in front of Judd Danielson in that 85 machine, also running a throwback paint scheme in front of Nick Reynolds, Gary Sexton, and Josh Bonwell, your top 5 in points.
Yes, sir. Gabe, another couple quick reminders for the fans. Obviously, we're going to go over the how you can win your free large 3-topping Domino's pizza tonight. We had a first-time winner last night in the Trick Series. We also have another $20 giveaway to the drivers tonight because this is Throwback Week here at Domino's TYJ Racing. The highest finishing throwback paint job scheme driver tonight will also win a $20 bonus. That's a guaranteed fact, Gabe. So these drivers are not only going to be racing for the win and the points because this is a point race, they're also going to be racing for an extra $20 bonus.
One of the drivers racing for that bonus is Andy Kessler, that number 98 machine, as he comes around turn number 2 on his first lap of qualifying. He goes into turn number 3. He is racing that number, usually his usual number 98, but a little different paint scheme that a tribute to the late Alan Kulwicki. That Hooters it says Mustang, but it may as well be the Underbird. 1992 champion of the Winston Cup Series, Alan Kulwicki. He comes across the line, complete lap number 1. He's 16th on the board out of 21 drivers who have taken time so far.
I take. Go ahead, Gabe.
Look through the field, just at a few more drivers running tribute paint schemes. Lap number 1 looks like James Somke in the... Excuse me, he's actually running some practice laps here after qualifying, but that number 1 machine, as he smacks it into the wall coming off of turn number 3, but he's running a tribute to Terry Labonte at Kellogg's number 1 machine.
Yes, sir, Gabe. I want to go over some real quick Pocono track facts. Poco is also known as the Tricky Triangle, and Gabe, as you know, the drivers already know this is going to be a tricky race tonight. It's a super speedway located in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania at Long Pond. It is the site of 2 annual Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races held just a few weeks apart in June and late July, early August. It also has Xfinity Series races like ours tonight, NASCAR Camping World Series races, and ARCA races. This track has been open from 71 to 89, and since 2013 actually. This track has hosted an IndyCar race as well. So this track gets a lot of action, and it is a very fun, but it is a very tricky and challenging track for all these drivers. We're definitely hoping for a great show, fans, and you are definitely tuned into the right place tonight.
Well, the drivers are sitting on the grid, and they're gridding up Kyle Charpentier with the pole with a 53.053. He picks it up about half a tenth from practice to qualifying. So 003 Charpentier will start on the pole. Outside of him, the Davey Allison tribute of Mark Jackson. Behind him, the 17 of Gary Sexton, Jeff T. Martin, Shane Parrish in the number 81 machine. A couple of cross-continent racing machines. Cross-continent racing, the number 81. Also on top of him, the 07 of Tyler Chalk, Joe Johnson, Josh Bonwell, Joe Johnson, Kyle Kamer, William E. Moore, and the Pure Leader paint scheme right there for the 44 Ray Richard tribute to the 1990 Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope. So a good paint scheme on that number 44. Outside of him, Curtis Young, Andrew Kessler, as I said in that Hooters paint scheme. 14th is Judd Danielson, David Wright, James Somke, Gary Weston, Chad Payne, Ellery Queen, and Craig Lerman round out your top 20.
Yes, sir, Gabe. Looks like in 21st position, we have got Eric Stanford with a 56.508. He is in that number 24 machine tonight. And the rest of the field, we have Gerald Campbell, Donald Stewart, William Davis, Tim Cox, Mark McFadden, Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts, Jeffrey Ford, Ivan Garcia, Sean Kalist, and Jeremy Crandall. Those drivers chose not to put down a qualifying lap. They were obviously expecting some mayhem in the opening laps of this race, and they're going to start in the back and hopefully avoid the mayhem. But I tell you what, Gabe, when these cars are bunched up together, when one of these cars gets sideways, the caution comes out, you can get collected in a wreck no matter where you start the race.
It'll be an interesting race indeed. So the 003 and the 3 are going to start it on the front row as they go into turn number 1. Here on the one and only pace lap, 80 laps tonight in that paint. What's the sponsor again? I didn't get the... Anyway, we'll get that for you in just a moment. But Kyle Charpentier is on the pole. It's 200 miles here tonight. 80 laps. A good one as they go into turn number 2. Pace car is going to pull off this time by 32 car field. They're weaving, trying to get some heat in those tires. As I said before, track temperature, it is low, 65 degrees. These drivers are going to have a lot to deal with here. It's going to rise progressively as they start running more and more laps. In the early going, it is going to be tough.
Yes, sir. It's the Premier Pioneer 200 here at Pocono.
All right, I'll try and remember that good sponsor here. Another sponsor in the Domino's series. I don't think we've had one yet that hasn't been sponsored, so it's going to be a great race here tonight with a sponsor on top of the field. You know, they help support this series, Robert. I know you're proud of them, and they put on one heck of a show here for these drivers. The driver's going to come off of turn number 3. It'll be kind of tough saying turn 3 instead of 4 here at Pocono, but that is the nature of the triangle.
Green.
Pace car is going to pull off this time by. Green flag here. It's a quick green flag here. Charpentier takes off to a huge lead as they go down the front straightaway. Jackson being left out to dry there on the top. Here comes Gary Sexton.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gabe, these guys in these Xfinity cars, they're winding up through 4th gear. They're going to have to get out of the gas just a little bit going into turn 1 on this first lap. and it definitely looks like Kyle Charpentier has got the lead here.
Oh,
going down.
Sexton loose. He loses 2-3 spots. In turn number 1 alone, that number 17 got loose out of turn 1.
It looks like the 3 wide back here. Behind Gary Sexton, we've got Shane Parrish. It looks like they've cleared it out a little bit. Joe Johnson and the 94 of Curtis Young. They are 2 wide now. And all 3 of these corners are tricky triangle corners, Gabe. Hopefully we get through this first lap.
All based off of famous speedways, off of Indianapolis, Milwaukee. But Mark Jackson took the lead there. So he's going to get the lead here on lap number 1. Mark Jackson with a huge move. I believe he made that down the back straightaway. Actually missed that cover in the back of the field, but lap number 1 is going to go to that number 3 car as they go into turn number 1. Wide arc angle into turn number 1 as they go down into the short chute to turn number 2. Here comes Charpentier. He's coming off the corner. He's got a big head of steam.
I tell you what, I was watching the 3 of Mark Jackson, that Haviland-sponsored Chevy Camaro, and he is definitely working that steering wheel left and right. So these cars are definitely loose. They're running a lot of speed going into all 3 of these corners. And I tell you what, it's going to be a handful for him to keep the lead as Kyle Charpentier in the 003 Toyota is right behind him.
Sexton got a little bit loose there. He's going to run wide at turn number 3. Here comes Charpentier. Can he hold it on the top? Because that 003 is going to get loose. He does. So that number 2 is going to go to that number 3 machine. It looks like we got a side-by-side battle with, looks like Shane Parrish. Yep, he's to the inside of the 07 on Tyler Chong, that Rockstar Energy. Chevy Camaro as they go into turn number 1. Is he going to have the position there? That inside is bumpy, but can he make it work?
Yeah, I tell you what.
Working on that 81 Cross Continent Serve Pro Toyota Camry, but it's not going to happen for him as they come off into the short chute. He's going to maintain in 5th.
Yeah, it looks like they're both going to get a great big run. Looks like on the 15 of Jeff T. Martin, he must have got loose. As they go through the corner, Shane Parrish is able to clear him. And Shane's got a good run on the side of Tyler Chalk in that 07. Looks like Shane's going to take that position.
Now Gary Sexton falls into the clutches of Joe Johnson. He's going to get past and to the inside again. Here comes Charpentier, that 003. He keeps fighting for it, but still single file for your top 2. A big increase by Mark Jackson. As I said, practiced in 13th, now up into the lead. So he has found something from qualifying to practice to qualifying. And that 3 car is absolutely flying. Here comes Charpentier. Big run around the outside. Cuts to the outside, down to the inside. Into the short chute. It's going to be a battle for the lead into turn number 2.
I tell you what, Gabe, we're going to see this all night long. These drivers are going to work and try to find the best groove as this track does rubber in. And it's going to be the driver who can manage their tires, figure out these corners in the tricky triangle the best. And we're going to have a whole lot of different leaders in my prediction here tonight, Gabe.
It's like the bottom falling out of that 3 machine, and Charpentier just continues to pull away here. He's going to lead his first lap of the night here on lap number 4. Want to go back and look through the field, look at any battles here. Want to talk about one driver running a tribute paint scheme. We're going to give you a little bit of history about these cars. I mean, it looks like he's either running a Cross, maybe a Bill Elliott, maybe a Jimmy Spencer car on that 58 machine. And behind him, just a couple of places, Judd Danielson in that Noble Winston 85 as he gets loose in turn number 1. And here comes Richard Petty, or that Petty Blue STP 42 to the inside of him. It's David Wright in that 42 machine to the inside. There he goes.
It looks like Judd is making the smart move here early in the race. He's giving him plenty of room. He might try to cross back over, but Judd is one of our most veteran drivers in our series. Both of our series, the Denafiter trucks and Premier Xfinity, and he knows how to get around this track. All the tracks actually. Looks like he's running the Food City Winston Chevy Camaro, that number 85. He just got into the wall. Looks like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 cars are going to pass him as he recovers.
Jimmy Spencer tribute car up into the wall, got some damage now, so he's going to fall back into that 14th spot. Here comes Gary Sexton in that 14 machine. He's followed by the 24 of the tribute Pepsi paint scheme for the 24 of Eric Stanford, the Pepsi Challenger. He goes to the inside. He's going to challenge for that 15th spot to the inside of him in turn number 1. Meanwhile, up front, just want to update you, Charpentier continuing to pull away. He's got a 1.3 second gap on Mark Jackson. 24 to the inside of him in turn number 2. Gary Weston pulls it high. Can he get that run on the inside? He does. Can he get clear, though? So they don't go down the second short chute into turn number 3.
Yes, sir, Gabe. I will let the fans know we have had 2, 3, maybe 4 different drivers get loose coming off of turn 2. Actually, it's 1 and 2 into the grass. The caution has not come out, so we're staying green here. But these guys are already facing the challenging track conditions here at Pocono, and I do want to take a real quick second to let the fans know how you can win your free 3-topping large Domino's pizza. It is very simple, fans. Make sure you go to 919-883-7497. You pick the winner of this race before lap 40, which will be halfway. Or if you're watching the live chat, you can also comment who you pick to win the race before lap 40. The winner will be the person who accurately predicts who wins this race before lap 40. Gabe, we're giving away mini pizzas. Looking forward to doing that again tonight. And up front, it definitely looks like Kyle Sharp here in that 003. Toyota is pulling away just a bit. We got Mark Jackson. He's in that Haviland Texaco throwback scheme in that Chevy Camaro. He's about 2 seconds back, though. So Jeff T. Martin is 4 seconds back in that number 15 tonight. And I tell you what, Gabe and fans, every one of these drivers, every single corner tonight, they're having a handful getting around this track. And it is amazing we've been green so far for the first 8 laps.
Yeah, that 3 machine looks like he had the qualifying pace, but it is failing him here, continuing to fall back. He's fell back about 2 seconds the past 4 laps since he got overtaken by Sharpens here. So Jeff T. Martin now, he is going to catch him, and he's also got Tyler Chalk behind him. So Curtis Young behind them as well. There's those 3 really, Gary Sexton and Shane Parrish in there as well. They're going to try to catch these guys. Serve Pro number 81 as the 17 gets loose there. That 81 machine going to try and capitalize. He's got a little bit of a run, but it's not going to be enough. But in front of them, the 94 Curtis Young making the move on Tyler Chalk as they go into turn number 1. They're door-to-door into 1.
Yes, sir, this is all about, like I said before. Oh, Curtis gets loose.
Can he hang on to it?
He does hang on to it, but he gets passed by 2-3 cars so far. The 56 Josh Bonwell's getting around the outside of his Ford Mustang. So this is going to happen all night long, Curtis. The drivers are going to get loose either in turn 1, turn 2, or turn 3. And we do have a caution. We'll get the replay pulled up real quick here.
Caution on the speedway, looking for the cause of your first yellow of the night here on lap number 9. It's like Gary Weston in the 14 K&N Toyota Camry spinning off of... It's like turn number 1 on the exit of turn number 1. Just got loose on exit. Number 14 spins down into the grass. And it's just going to be a little bit of a ride around. Collects nobody and maintains pace speed. And doesn't hit anything, so that 14 is going to be able to get back into the race.
Yeah, I tell you, well, like I said, Gabe, we've seen quite a few folks spin out. At that time, the caution did come out. Again, fans, you are watching the Premier Pioneer 200 here live on All Pro Broadcasting. Quick reminder, fans, we do want you to click the subscribe button if you're watching us live here. That way you get all the notifications for all of the races here. We have them on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. Once you click the subscribe button there on the All Pro Broadcasting, you will automatically get the alert, and you will never miss a chance to win your free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. Gabe, we're up to lap 9 here. We do have quite a ways to go. Who are you seeing as the biggest movers so far, and will anybody pit this early?
I think I'm going to see guys pit here, but it looks like biggest mover. I'm seeing Nick Reynolds from 27th to 15th moving up pretty well, and Jeremy Crandall as well from 32nd to 22nd. But with these long cautions here at Pocono, we're going to get to do one thing we don't usually do all that often. We're going to talk to a ton of drivers. I think we may need to get a little tally count, because if we get a few cautions here, we're going to talk to about 10 drivers. First one I want to talk to after we get done with pit stops. I'll tell you what, how about we dial up Ray Richer as they come to pit road here. Sharpens here, a little bit of connection issues. But it looks stable now, so all these drivers are going to come to pit road, the attention of their pit crews. And they're going to all pass. Looks like the stalled car, the 246 of Jeffrey Ford, that Sitco machine, never made it to the grid.
Yes, sir. So at this point, Gabe, as these drivers get slowed down, they do have 9-10 laps on their tires. Every single one of these drivers are battling these cars. Go ahead.
Parrish went through pit road. Shane Parrish went through pit road. He's going to be our leader here. Everybody's going to take 4 tires. I want to just cover. As looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson, a great pit stop. He's going to get out in front, and maybe, Jeff T. Martin and Joe Johnson, a slow pit stop for the 003. But Shane Parrish is going to be our leader.
I tell you what, you can make up plenty of spots on pit road. Sometimes that's the best time. It looks like the 003 of Kyle Sharpendeer slid through his pit box. He had to back up. He is getting 4 fresh tires, but when you slide through your pit stop and have to back up, you're definitely going to lose the lead.
All right, as I get done with pit stops, let's talk to a driver here. Maybe that 44, Derek Cope, you got a copy.
Derek who?
Oh, excuse me, Ray Richer, I'm sorry.
Evening, Gabe, Robert. How you doing, guys?
Doing good. You're having yourself a decent run there in 11th. You started there, so you're just kind of maintaining positions. You're around Andy Kessler, maybe the 42 of David Wright. How's the car feeling for practice? I know you tried to get a little bit of a fuel run in here. Is it kind of feeling the same?
It basically feels the same. When I ran a fuel run during practice, I ran about 19 laps. Checked the right front tire. Lowest it went was 98%. I just kind of ran a real conservative groove. One of the things I will say about this is the cars are very, very tight tonight. Everybody keeps saying they're loose. Now, talking to Jeremy Crandall earlier, he was saying that everybody thinks that they're loose because they whip that way once they get tight and bite. And I agree with them 110%. They're very, very tight. So you got to be very conservative on your run. You've got to take your time turning through, especially turn 3 where it's nice and flat. Turn 1 is a challenge, seems to be every single time. I'm down to that second groove, kind of slowly rolling back into the throttle. It's almost like driving this thing in slow motion.
Yeah, we're seeing these drivers, I saw it during practice especially, that bottom side in turn number 3, it is a no-go. You try making a pass on the bottom, you're basically guaranteed to at least get loose or maybe even spin around. I mean, it's just so bumpy.
Yeah, I agree 110% there, but when you hit turn 2, I'm kind of throttling it about halfway through the turn as long as I can get my tire down by that rumble strip and not touch it. The minute you touch it, I did that earlier in practice, and the car just whipped right around. It upset it so bad. So you're kind of using the phrase, if you haven't used it already, I said earlier, it's like dancing with a chainsaw. It's amazing.
I already let all the viewers know, but yeah, it's getting close. Yeah, I gotta ask, does it feel any better after a few laps, or does it just kind of stay where it's at once the good has rubbed off the tires?
Once the tire pressures come up about 2 laps in, it seems to even out. Again, with the line I'm going, I'm not a very fast car. A lot of guys are just laying back and then they try to pound on it later. I just try to keep doing the same laps every run. It seems to pay off pretty decent. So it does feel better after about 2 laps. Doesn't seem to change after about 15 or so. And of course, we've only got 12 in here at this point. I haven't been around traffic much in practice, but that's the best I can give you, being alone on the track at that time.
All right, well, Ray, well, good luck to you in during this next green flag run. Hopefully we'll run to the finish.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gabe, it looks like we got some big movers up front. Ivan Garcia in that 072. Looks like he did stay out. He will be restarting first.
Yeah, looks like maybe Shane Parrish actually missed his pit stall, and he's actually come back to pit road, so he's back in the pack. But yeah, 072 staying out. He's getting some laps led here, and the lights are out atop the pace car, so he will be our leader when we come back to the stripe.
Yeah, I was looking. We got plenty of time on these cautions because they are long for a Domino's driver profile. And it looks like right now we're going to have one on the 3 of Mark Jackson. Actually, we'll do that under the next caution. We'll give you one real quick on Ray Richer. We just talked to him. We do have a couple more minutes. Ray Richard's in that number 44. He is one of our veteran drivers. He also helps out in the booth. He's got a great radio voice. Ray is driving that number 44. He is from Mohawk, New York. His race team is Richer Racing. His sponsors are Pro Auto Service, AMSOIL, Phantom Racing Chassis, and he has a new sponsor tonight, of course, for the throwback scheme. Ray has been in sim racing 4 years. He does have a lot of real-world racing experience. Gabe cut me off when we get to the green. He's got 12 years in racing. He's won many heat races, only one feature. He's building and maintaining many real-world race cars and trucks, including light trucks, late models, 4-cylinders, modifieds, and ARCA cars. He's spotted for over 7 years at many local short tracks as well as nationally with ARCA for the last 2 years. He has spotted at Kansas, Pocono, Iowa, Daytona, Talladega, and Kentucky. He wants to give a special thanks to Domino's TYG Racing, Mike Smith from Pro Auto Service for all the support, Marty and Lori Gilmore at superflowcentral.com, where you can purchase all your AMSOIL needs. That's for Ray Ricker.
We're back to the green here. Pace car pulls off. Green flag back in the air. Ivan Garcia spins the tires. He's going to stack them up at the start-finish line. They're going to be 3 wide for the lead going into turn number 1. Will Ivan Garcia stay in it? He's going to lead him down into turn number 1. Can he hang on to it on those old tires? Car starts to push up the racetrack just a little bit. There goes Mark Jackson into the lead with that qualifying speed. 072 gets a little bit loose, carries it up the racetrack, but he hangs on to it. Going to slot in third, but now they're going to be 3 wide with Tyler Chalk. Looks like Martin backs out of it. Chalk backs out of it. They're all going to pass from single file there on the outside. Now Curtis Young is going to be the one to stick in behind them. So that 072, that strategy not panning out. He's already sliding back outside the top 10.
Yeah, I tell you what, they were 2 wide, even 3 wide, going through that turn number 1. Go ahead.
Well, we got a battle for the lead. The 3 got loose on the outside of the racetrack. They're side by side. Down the front straightaway, they're going to go into turn number 1. Battle for the lead. Door to door. Who's going to be let off first? Jackson on that outside lane. Sharpens here on the bottom. Here we go. Can he get the crossover move? The last time Charpentier got in the lead, he pulled away. Can Mark Jackson hang on to it?
Yes, it looks like Kyle Charpentier is maintaining that lead. As Mark Jackson is fighting back on the inside, he has taken the smart decision to fall behind as they go through the, is this called the tunnel turn, Gabe?
I do believe it is the tunnel turn there in turn number 2.
Yes, sir. That turn is bumpy. All these turns have definitely got some very challenging situations.
All these turns have situations, and they have character as they come to the stripe here for lap number 15. Charpentier to take that lead away. And here comes Gary Sexton in that 17 machine in third. He's a second behind, but half a second behind that second spot. Last time, Mark Jackson pulled out to a huge lead, but he was caught, and it was actually in the process of being caught and passed by the rest of the field. So we may have to see what Gary Sexton can do. He was third in practice.
Yes, and we missed it, but I think the 85 of Judd Danielson had some serious issues there. Looks like on lap 15. I don't know if we can pull that replay up as we stay green here to see exactly what happened to the 85.
Yeah.
Looks like he got into the corner.
Yeah, he coming off the exit of turn number 1. They were going 4 wide. The 81 of Shane Parrish forcing the issue there and puts Judd Danielson up into the 9 of Chad Payne. Takes out Gary Sexton. Somehow the caution does not come out.
Yeah, it looks like he is definitely out of the race. That did collect a couple of different cars, including the 14 of Gary Sexton. And we do have another caution on the track.
Caution now out on the speed. We're going to look for the cause of it. Looks like toward the back of the pack here. Right here in the 56, Josh Bonwell out of hard contact. Got some damage there. Looks like he got the boot in turn number 1 by the 42 of David Wright. So he went to turn down for the corner. He was expecting the 42 not to be there. 42 ended up putting him into the outside wall, collecting a few other drivers. Looks like Will Davis in the number 11. Nick Reynolds getting caught up as well, and Ray Richer actually going through the grass trying to miss it, and he actually did.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Gabe, we are going to take this opportunity to take our first commercial break. You are watching the Premier Pioneer 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. Make sure, fans, you click that subscribe button. This is a points race. And when you come back from the commercial, fans, we'll give you more details on how to win that free large 3-topping pizza. Again, you are watching the Premier Pioneer 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Back here live at Pocono on All Pro Broadcasting. We're back here under caution, lap number 20, so a fourth of the way through tonight's 200-mile event. Kyle Sharpens here in that number 3 machine, or excuse me, in that 003 machine, still out front. Mark Jackson in that third spot. Gary Sexton in second. Gary Sexton in third, and then Tim Cox in that number 19 machine, that Cross Continent Racing. 2 teammates there in third and fourth. You got Tyler Chalk in the 07, and behind them, Jimmy Spencer, Bill Elliott, kind of not sure who that car has come from. Maybe it might be Bill Elliott, but that number 58 machine of William E. Moore. And you have Curtis Young, Will Davis, Andrew Kessler, and Gerald Campbell round out your field. Gerald Campbell, one of 2 drivers running that Terry Labonte Kellogg's paint scheme. The driver also using it is James Somke in the number 1 machine. Joe Johnson running that NOS scheme. Want to talk about him, and in front of him, Kyle Kamer in that number 51. Rowdy Burns, a little bit of a tribute on that 51 machine, the Exxon car. Excuse me, I believe he's actually running, let me see the name on top of the windshield, at least a little bit different from the movie car. Nope, it is the Rowdy Burns car. Excuse me, it looked a little bit different there, but that car also looks very good. And now they're going to double them up for the restart here, Robert. We've had some pretty decent green flag runs here, only lap number 20, but we've had 2 cautions here, and that's not too bad for having what has been described as a loose and out-of-control car.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gabe, the best drivers always seem to rise to the top, and they figure out whatever kind of setup we have or whatever kind of track we're on. And obviously this is a tricky triangle here at Pocono, like we mentioned before. But it's going to be very exciting, very challenging to see what kind of pit strategy these guys make and have. Kind of like the truck race last night, we ran 100 laps green, and Gabe, you had a pretty good finish there. You had a good run going on. So tonight I wouldn't be surprised if we have another long green flag run, especially near the end of the race.
What race were you watching?
Well, you finished it in front of me, but that's not saying a lot.
I hit Judd. It blew my engine. I wish I had a good run. That was a great race. I actually made a mistake and hit the wall on lap number 1 off the start. Started second, and it really just set my night, really, and I got stuck back in the pack after almost losing the car, but I saved it. But that was still one heck of a race, seeing all those tribute cars out there, especially at Rockingham. It was a great racetrack and a great setup. I was actually glad to be a part of it. Frustrating to end the night, the way it did.
Yes, sir, Gabe and fans, we are going to have a second Rockingham race August 23rd, so make sure you tune in. I'll let you set this restart, Gabe.
Drivers coming to the line at a turn number 3, and what turn 4?
Green flag, green
Race
flag.
car's going to pull down, green flag back in the air. It is a quick start here at Pocono. Kyle Sharpens here gets out to the lead all by himself, and Gary Sexton now into that second spot, so he overtakes Mark Jackson as they go into 1.
Yes, I tell you what, these drivers are trying to get everything they can on these first few laps after a restart. And Kyle Charpentier is all the way sideways.
Almost around. He's going to spin up in front of the pack. Can he hang on to it? He does. And that 003 spins out from the lead, but doesn't hit anybody.
Yeah, I tell you what, even the best drivers in Kyle Charpentier in that 003 Toyota, I think tonight he's also racing in that Apex Racing machine. Yes, Apex Racing. He is one of our better drivers. He's led a lot of the laps in the series, and as well as in Top Shelf Cup. He even had trouble on that lap right there, Gabe.
Charpentier still looking for his first career win, and that put a little bit of a damper in his spirit. But looking at the replay, Mark McFadden, that number 67 machine became a 130-mile-an-hour lawnmower going through the grass to miss that accident.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gabe, this does bring out the caution again. My expectation is most of these drivers will stay out since they just pitted. And fans, we're going to try to get a couple of words with a couple of drivers while we are under this caution. Go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked to Ray Richard. Let's talk to the driver who's 2 spots in front of him now. It's Alan Kowalski, Andrew Kessler in that number 98 machine.
Yeah, how you doing up there? It's been kind of interesting out here. A little treacherous at times, but if you get in the groove, you should be all right.
And we've heard from Ray. He said once the temperatures kind of get up in the tires, the car is a little bit easier to handle. Are you finding the same situation?
Yeah, it can be. The only problem, though, I think a lot of these guys are finding that it gets a little comfortable and they think they can do a little bit more than they can. So I think that's why we've seen a couple cautions here besides this one happen around lap 10 or 11, just because everybody starts to get comfortable and then maybe, overstep it just a little bit. So it'll be a long race here.
Now, this is a throwback weekend, throwback week. What made you choose that number 98 Hooters car?
I love me some chicken wings.
Sure, that's what you go there for.
I tell you one thing, my wife loves Hooters because they got one of the best chicken sandwiches you can find anywhere.
I'll tell you what, Andy.
You got that right.
I'll tell you what, Andy. Did you find that paint scheme, or did you do it yourself?
This one I found. I did 3 different ones for last night's truck race, so I was a little painted out for this week. So I just took this one, found this one, and decided to run it.
All right, Andy. Well, good luck to you here. We're over a fourth of the distance through tonight's race, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Let you get settled in for the next green flag run.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gabe. It does look like the 003 of Kyle Charpentier has made his pit stop after wearing out those tires.
If Charpentier comes to pit road, he's going to get some brand new for Mr. Feelgoods on that 003 Apex Racing UK Toyota. Looks like Sean Catless on pit road as well, maybe getting some damage repaired, but that 45 not moving. He's still on the lead lap, so if he wants to maintain that position, he needs to get moving now. But that's going to give Gary Sexton the lead for the first time in tonight's race. And this has really just blown this field wide open. Still working caution here, lap number 24. We should get the one to go this time by. It's some long cautions here at Pocono. So the one thing difficult, once there is a wreck, it takes a lot of time to just get around the racetrack and get the race restarted. And once you do, you're kind of off your edge. I mean, the quick cautions, they kind of help you. You kind of stay in the zone, but here you get, about 5 minutes to relax. Robert, I don't believe we're hearing you. I'm not sure. Nope, some technical issues on Robert's microphone, so we're gonna have to get that fixed here. Gary Sexton is in the lead. Robert, unfortunately, gonna try and get you a new mic so we can get that fixed up. But Gary Sexton still in the lead. Mark Jackson in that second spot. It's not one to go yet, so we still got some time to run here.
Sorry about that. Is that better?
There he is.
Yeah, real quick. Did you hear me talking about Mark McFadden at all?
No, you were quiet that entire time.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was going to do a real quick Domino's driver profile. He spun through the grass there, won that last wreck. He is from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. He's been in iRacing for 7 years. And on iRacing, he won the 2012 Daytona 500 and the 2016 Talladega 500. He has got some real-world racing experience. He's been racing since 1967. He has 2 street stock championships, 2 IKF go-kart championships, and unfortunately, Mark was involved in a terrible real-world racing crash on April 19th. He suffered a concussion, fractured sternum, bruising from his shoulders down to his feet. That's probably going to put him out of the real-world racing car, but we're thankful he has recovered and he's here back racing with us tonight.
Hopefully, good recovery for that 3 of Mark Jackson. But yeah, Robert, glad you're back with us here.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, we're going to have a long stretch here of green flag racing. Typically, we do have a couple of cautions early in our races.
While we're sitting here, we still got the 1 to go, so we got about a minute and a half. I want to talk about last night's race. I mean, that was one of the best races I've ever seen. 100 laps at Rockingham, green flag. I mean, you were racing in it. It took so much. I had people trying to talk to me while I was racing, and I couldn't talk to them because I was concentrating so much on trying to get that car around the racetrack. I mean, it was a great event last night. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yes, sir. We have our next and final 2017 Truck Rockingham race for August 23rd. I'm not sure if it'll be a throwback paint scheme event yet or not, but fans, you definitely want to tune in for that race, August 23rd.
Gary Sexton leading some laps here. Gary Sexton in that number 17 machine. He's 4th in points right now, still going after his first win and actually leading his first laps of the year, that number 17 machine. So a good job on Gary Sexton to stay up front and get in the lead. He's got 2 top 5s, as I said, 4 top 10s, 1,314 laps completed. So I believe he's actually ran the most laps out of anybody, so he's got some consistency down. He's still looking for that first win. Hopefully he can get that here tonight.
Yes, sir, Gabe, we're getting ready for the restart. The pace car will be pulling into pit road, and Gary Sexton will lead us to green.
Gary Sexton trying to get that good restart. Hopefully he doesn't spin his tires like 072. Ivan Garcia did. It looks like he's going to get a decent restart. Almost door banging between the 3 and the 19 as they fight for the second spot behind him. So go into turn number 1. They're all going to fan out. There goes Sexton. Can he try and not to make the mistake that the 003 made last time? It looks like the 19 loose. The 19 goes around to Tim Cox. Caution is out yet again, and the 81 of Shane Parrish. So yet another caution.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the 94 spun around and hit the inside wall, and we had some wrecks behind him.
Yeah, the 19 actually didn't bring out the caution. Back through who was actually the cause of the caution. What's in that 94? He was actually the 42 of David Wright as he spun sideways. Ended up getting tagged by the 81 of Shane Parrish.
Yeah, it looks like the 11 got up into the 94. And we're going to see exactly what happened with the 81 as well. Shane Parrish was also involved in that, as well as David Wright. Go ahead.
Tim Cox also involved, so unfortunate for a few of those drivers. So we're still under caution here. We're going to have another 5 laps under caution. Lap number 28, still not halfway. Gary Sexton still in the lead. He's continuing to add to his lead lap, or his laps led total. A little update on drivers. Looks like Gary Weston, Jeremy Crandall, and Judd Danielson, as well as Bonwell, and looks like Jeffrey Ford finally getting back on the racetrack. Will Davis also on pit road getting damage repaired. So we got about 4 or 5 cars that are out of the race so far.
Yes, sir, Gabe. I'm going to step away just for a minute to do some admin work here, but I'll be right back.
All right, well, while we're riding here under caution, we're going to go ahead and give you a full field rundown here as they're riding under caution. Give us a chance to check up on who's moved up and who's moved down through the field. Gary Sexton, as I said, he is in the lead. Mark Jackson in second. William E. Moore in that third spot. Tyler Chalk and Curtis Young round out your top 5. Gerald Campbell, Andrew Kessler, Ray Richard, Ellery Queen in that 9th spot. Joe Johnson in that 10th spot in that Knox Energy 83. 11th spot, Mark McFadden, James Somke, Jack Watts, Craig Thurman, and Donald Stewart in that 15th spot. Kyle Kamer, Jeff T. Martin, Ivan Garcia, Kyle Sharpenzieher, and Eric Stanford round out your top 20. 21st, Sean Kalis, Chad Payne, Sean Kalis, Shane Parrish, Tim Cox, and David Wright round out your top 15. Still doing some admin, so we're going to have to run through the rest of the field. 26th, Nick Reynolds, Jeffrey Ford. 29th, Josh Bonwell, Judd Danielson, Gary Weston, and Jeremy Crandall round out your field. Riding here, trying to look see who your biggest mover is so far. Gerald Campbell, actually, in that number 35 McDonald's, Kellogg's machine, he's moved from 22nd up to 5th. So that driver doing a good job getting his way up through the field. 28th to 13th is the 66 of Jack Watts.
Yeah, thank you, Gabe. I was able to review those replays on that caution. And it was very interesting. Of course, these corners, like we've said before, there is a lot of give and take. And these cars with these track conditions do get loose, and they can slide up, and that's exactly what happened there on that last caution. Looks like the 11 of Will Davis got the most damage, unfortunately. The 81 of Shane Parrish also got a lot of damage and decided to pull his car behind the wall. Looks like the 94 of Curtis Young just got minimal damage there. And from what I can tell, the 42 of David Wright just got minimal damage as well.
Robert, unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave here on lap number 30. I've got some work to do.
Yes, sir, I completely understand. I do have a replacement for you. So thank you so much, Gabe, and you have a great night.
But yeah, we got to go ahead and replace with Judd Danielson. He was in that 85 machine, but he's now going to try his hand at the broadcast booth. I want to thank you guys. Have a good race.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Gabe. Judd Danielson, welcome to the broadcast booth. Unfortunately, you had some bad luck tonight. Contact early in the race put you out of the race. How you doing tonight, Judd, other than being out of the race? I know that's disheartening. It's very frustrating.
Well, number one, I'm working points here, so that's a tough break. But, track's tough tonight, and we'll get through it. It's okay. It's racing. It's fun. I'd rather be doing this than anything else.
Yeah, I tell you what, you are one of our veteran drivers. We're very thankful to have you in our league. We're also thankful that you're able to help me out here in the booth. We do have quite a ways left to go in this race tonight. This is the Premier Pioneer 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We do have a lot of throwback schemes in the race tonight. Judd, what's the favorite or some of the favorite throwback schemes you've seen tonight?
Well, I was racing around 98. You can't deny the Hooters car, Kellogg's, I believe that's Gerald, if I'm not mistaken. The McDonald's guys look pretty good tonight. Haviland, there's a whole bunch of these guys. It's wonderful to see these beautiful paint jobs out here, and especially the throwbacks. It's really a good time. Appreciate that stuff, Robert.
Yes, sir. Judd, hopefully I will not call you Gabe, as I'm used to talking to him tonight. This is a throwback week. We are going to be having one other throwback race at Darlington in the trucks here in a few weeks, fans. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. And I do want to mention one more time real quick while we are under caution, fans, how you can get your free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. It is very simple. All you have to do is text 919-883-7497. If you are watching in the live chat, fans, all you have to do is text in there or comment in there the name of the driver you expect to win before lap 40. So you got it'll be about 8 laps to go. When we do get the restart here, we're going to be coming up on lap 32. So make sure you get your picks in soon. And unfortunately, Judd, you and myself, all the other Domino's TYJ Racing members, as well as Domino's employees, are not qualified for that free pizza.
Yeah, 10-4. I got my Domino's a couple weeks ago, so that was all good. All good. What are we on here? 1 to go? So we're doing the Premier Pioneer 200 tonight. All right. Well, these guys have a lot of work to do. It is pretty treacherous out there.
Yes, sir, Gabe. Excuse me, Judd. I just made that mistake. Sorry. These Xfinity cars have got the low spoiler down. What do you call it? Package.
Yeah, downforce package. Yeah.
Downforce package. Yes, sir. And so they are a handful for the real-world Xfinity drivers, as well as the drivers here in the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series. Of course, it is called tonight the Premier Pioneer Race because it is a throwback. We're racing here at Long Pond Speedway, which has been in existence for many, many years. Looks like for the restart here, we are going to have Mark Jackson in second in that Haviland Camaro. Gary Sexton will be leading us in the first position. Third, we have William E. Moore. Looks like he's driving that Reese's Ford Mustang GT. We got Tyler Chalk. He's in that RJ Racing Cars Inc. Camaro.
Green flag.
And the pace car is in, and we're off to the restart. I'll let you take that, Judd.
Yeah, Gary Sexton gets a nice little run on the inside. Looks like he's going to hit turn 1. Get his position for sure. Yeah, good work there. I'll see if we can muster through this corner, boys.
Yes, sir. Looks like he slides right up in front to get that preferred line into the corner. That way he gets the best momentum off the corner. And so far, so good as we go through the end of turn number 1. This Long Pond backstretch as they go into turn number 2. What's it called, Judd? The tunnel turn?
I mean, I've heard Ray, Long Pond, turn 2. I've heard Ray mention it a number of times tonight when we're in the sim side of this thing. But we got Andy hitting the wall. Andy's hitting the wall. We got it. He saved it. 98 saved it.
Yes, sir. Andy Kessler got into the wall a little bit. Yes, sir, fans. We're going to pull the replay up real quick here and see exactly what happened on the replay. Looks like it's the 003 was involved. Give us just a second. We'll see exactly what happened to him.
Yeah, just before that caution came out, 98 got wide. I'm not sure if anybody got in with him or not, but it looked like he just kind of hung her out there a little too far.
Yes, and on that caution, it does look like Kyle Charpentier, the 003. He got into that corner pretty hot. He was making a pass on the number 1 of James Somke in that Kellogg's machine. And he was on the outside of the 51, looks like. That Exxon machine of Kyle Cameron. And he just got loose. He almost saved it, got into the wall. Unfortunately, was not able to completely save it, and that is exactly what brought the caution out. And fans, on this note, we are going to take a real quick commercial break. You are watching the Premier Pioneer 200 here on All Pro Broadcasting. Again, fans, make sure you click the subscribe button. That way you get all the notifications for the free pizza giveaways. Fans, we'll be right back.
driver of the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
When you're ready,
ServPro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-ServPro and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, old man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on, automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series. You are watching the Premier Pioneer 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. This is our throwback week. We have a lot of cars here tonight to race in throwback schemes. Fans, again, make sure you click the subscribe button on All Pro Broadcasting. That way you get all the alerts for the free pizzas Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights. It looks like there we had quite a few people fake going into the pits there, Judd, and a few people stayed out. What did you see?
Gary stayed out, to my knowledge. 17 stayed out, so we'll see what Gerald's got here for him in 35. Throw a little Tony the Tiger up there.
Yeah, I tell you what, track position here is very important. It'll be very interesting to see if Gary is able to hold on to the lead here.
Gary's had a really good car, even through practice. I watched him for a little bit, and he's definitely, he knows what he's doing out here tonight.
That is absolutely true. We've had some other drivers having some serious issues with this tricky triangle. Looks like we got 1 lap to green. Judd, what are you expecting for the rest of this race?
Looking at the 62, Ellery Queen looking good up there. He's holding his own. So Jack Watts has made himself up to the top 6, it looks like. So some of these drivers have been mired in the back, they've kept their cars clean, and looks like they should be able to get some nice green flag runs in here now. That'd be nice if we get a nice green flag, let these cars settle in, get these tires heated up. What it really feels like, Robert, is it actually feels like the car is on top of the track. That's what it really feels like. It doesn't really feel like you're connected at all. So any touching the gas in those corners, and it's just extremely loose.
Right, and that's where it comes down to which driver can be the most delicate, have the most feel and touch in the race car.
Green flag.
I'll let you take the restart there.
Here we go. Gary's on the inside. Looks like he's going to get himself a nice start. A little help from the 83. 35 holding his own. 44, Ray Richard going to come into the outside. See what these guys can do coming into 1. Everybody looks clean so far.
Yeah, these drivers are reaching, looks like 150, 160 going into turn 1. Of course, next lap around, that will be wide open. And they will be definitely closer to the 200-mile-an-hour mark there coming into turn 1. So far, so good through turn number 1 as these drivers go down the back, the back stretch into turn number 2.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they call it the tricky triangle. These drivers are going to have to be careful. And then this third turn, I think it's called the tunnel turn.
Yeah.
It actually goes over the tunnel for the fans to come in, or the tractor trailers to come into the racetrack. So, but coming off
83 and 30, yeah, Gerald Campbell, and got a battle for second place here.
Yeah, it looks like Gerald decides to drop back in line.
Now, Joe Johnson and Gary Sexton are teammates, so these guys are working together, it looks like.
Yes, and Gary Sexton in that number 17 has gotten out to a great lead. Looks like side by side.
Oh, got one in the wall a little bit, Ray Rich.
Yeah. Gerald will take over that second position. Sorry about that, Judd.
Ellery Queen under the number 44 for Ray Richard. Looks to be 4th place.
Yes, and he does take that spot. Ellery's having a great night. Ellery is driving that Ford Mustang GT. Looks like the sponsor tonight is his typical sponsor he has on that number 62 machine, unless you're seeing something different there, Judd.
No, I'm seeing not a lot of black cars, but the whole team of Gary Sexton, number 17 up there, his whole team's cars are black tonight. And I noticed that Ellery Queen's car is black and white. So I've done my part on trading paints to refresh all this stuff. So guys have been talking about having some issues with their paint jobs too, but most of them I see everything that's been coming on. Looks we got 35 into he's overtaking number 17.
Yes, he sure is. Gerald Campbell in his Tony the Tiger Chevy Camaro number 35 does take the lead here. That will put Gary Sexton back to second. Gary did lead a lot of laps. His tire's a little bit older, so that is not surprising. We have Joe Johnson in that number 83 NOS Energy Drink Camry. He's getting some heat right now on the inside. Looks like from Tim B. Cox. Tim is trying to make that move on the inside. Looks like he will make that pass successfully. And this is the kind of give and take that is going to be required for us to have a long green flag run here, Judd.
Yeah, from 5th place and then you hit to 6th place, and that's kind of a gaggle back there. Those guys are kind of getting it worked out. But right now, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, they got some fresh air to work with. And
yeah, I'm looking right now. Ray Reacher in that Pure Later Chevy Camaro. Like I think you mentioned, he got into the wall earlier. It is definitely hurting his performance right now as he's dropping back. He's letting 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 cars get around him. Of course, he just wants to keep it out of the wall so he can maintain, recover, and have a top 10 finish here before the night's over.
That tempo, Mark Jackson working the inside of William Moore. Looks like he's just going to settle in with Jack Watts there at 66.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do in the middle of the race here. We are past halfway, fans. We'll give you the update. and who wins the free pizza. But it looks like the 58 right now, William E. Moore. He's in that McDonald's sponsored Mustang GT. He's on the inside of the 15 of Tim B. Cox. Excuse me, of Jeff T. Martin. And Jeff drops it in hard there. Hopefully he's able to maintain. And William Moore does keep it off of him. This is a great battle. Oh, unfortunately.
Mark Jackson, 58, William Moore. You know, William had a really fast car tonight, too. That's too bad. Looks like we're green. We still staying green?
Looks like we may be. It definitely looks like it's going to hurt the 58 and the 3 of Mark Jackson. So they're going to be under speed here going forward. Looks like Ray Richard, that number 44, is going to get around Mark Jackson. But those two drivers will definitely have some damage, and it will slow them down. Looks like Mark Jackson is now getting passed by the 07 of Tyler Chalk. So we do stay green.
I think that Mark Jackson's number 3. He took more damage than the 58 did. The 58's got some right rear quarter panel damage. It's I don't think that's going to hinder him nearly as much as that fender sticking up on Mark Jackson's car.
Yeah, I tell you what, as every lap goes by, or every few laps, we have less and less drivers with a perfectly clean car who can make a run to the front and challenge for the win here. It does look like we do have Gerald Campbell leading up front.
Joe Johnson's, just tapping the wall. He's good to go. He's still moving, though.
Yep,
I ran this race last year. I had 100 laps here, and I ended up getting an 8th place finish, but when I came to the pits, the whole crew looks at me and says, "Where's your car?" I handed him the steering wheel, and I went home.
There you go. 8th place finish. You cannot complain about that. And a lot of these cars are going to have some serious damage on the right side. Like we said, they call it the tricky triangle. It looks like we got some side-by-side here between Jeff T. Martin and Jack Watts. Are giving each other plenty of room. And right behind them, we got some more side-by-side battle between Joe Johnson and that 83 and William E. Moore in that 58. William E. Moore is trying to move up. Looks like William started in the 10th position. He has gained 2 positions at this point, but we have a lot of racing left on this 2.5 mile, pretty much flat triangle track here, Judd.
Yeah, no problem. 58, you know, he was running up front earlier tonight, so he's got a good car. He just needs to, you know, mentality-wise, he's got to just hang in there, man. Let that concentration take over and not try to overdrive these corners. You'll get through this race if you just don't ask the car to do too much. Here we go. 87 going around.
It looks like, fans, we will get the replay pulled up on this caution real quick.
The other thing I was going to mention is that the 94, Curtis
Young.
Yeah, Curtis Young. He was having some troubles, you know, before the caution before, and now he's worked himself back up to 4th place. So Curtis is pretty good here. I think he's going to be comfortable. He knows his car pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like the 07 of Tyler Chalk got loose. He did lock it down. He did stay out of the way. Unfortunately, the caution did come out. So, Judd, at this point, I think most of these drivers are probably going to come down and get 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. They're probably going to still need 2 full cans of Sunoco Racing fuel if they want to make it to the end. I'll let you cover the leader here on pit stops and see what he does and see if everybody does follow the leader or if somebody takes a chance and stays out.
Well, we'll see if Gerald Campbell can handle it or not. At 35, he pitted where I don't believe that Gary pitted this last go-around, so I can pretty much bet that 17 and 19 are going to have to come in for some tires. Gerald, 35 car, he might be able to stay out there. We'll see what he does here. Smart move would probably be to come in and get some tires.
Yes, sir, we're going to be following the leader here. 35 of Gerald Campbell and that Tony the Tiger Xfinity machine. We'll figure out if he actually comes down pit road or stays out. And while we do have a break in the action, Judd, what has impressed you the most or surprised you the most? I'm going to try to do a Domino's driver profile when you get done talking.
All right. You know, I believe, and this is only from my own experience, but I believe that you really got to let these cars settle in for the first couple laps. We've got Gerald Campbell coming in, 35, 17, 19. Oh, they're all following. Everybody's coming in for some fresh hides.
Yes, sir. If you will follow the 35 machine of Gerald Campbell down pit road, let us know what he gets as far as his pit stop goes. As soon as he comes out, we're going to continue to follow him. And at that point, I'll give a driver profile on Gerald Campbell. Go ahead.
Kyle Cameron stayed out on the track, so we'll keep an eye on him as well. Gerald Campbell's in his pits. Left sides. He's out.
Did he only take left sides there, Judd?
Left sides only.
Wow, that is a big-time strategy move. Hopefully that will gain him some valuable track position.
Oh, he's holding first place, no problem.
Yes, sir. Looks like
the second, it looks like.
Yeah, I would bet some of these other drivers only took 2 tires, but we're going to continue to focus here on Gerald Campbell at number 35. Gerald is from Sebring, Florida. His team is Aggressive Eagle. His normal sponsors are veterans of foreign wars, but obviously fans, like we've been telling you, this is a throwback week here at Domino's TYJ Racing. He is sporting that Kellogg's Got Milk Chevy Camaro. This is a great looking paint scheme, Judd. Looks like on the front of it, he's got Tony the Tiger. You cannot miss that, fans. One other thing about Gerald, he spent 15 years racing legend cars in Florida, and he does have the 2012 Pro Truck Championship.
Nice. Nice. Good job, Gerald.
Yeah, I tell you what, Judd, it is amazing to me. We have got a slew, and that's not the right word. We have got a lot of great drivers across the spectrum here in Domino's TYJ Racing, whether they're racing the Den Fender truck, the Premier Xfinity car, or the Top Shelf Cup car. And a lot of these drivers do have a lot of real-world experience. A lot of these drivers have go-kart experience. And it appears to me that most of these drivers that do have that kind of real-world experience, it seems like, Judd, they have a little bit of an advantage on some of the other drivers just going in because they know exactly what the seat of the pants feel is in whatever kind of vehicle they're racing. So they jump in the Xfinity car, the Den Fender truck, or the Top Shelf Cup car, and they've already got a little bit of an advantage. Of course, we do have a few drivers that might not have much real-world experience that are very fast as well.
10-4, yeah. Yeah, the luxury, that I've had this year is to get to work with a number of these drivers. It's been a real eye-opener because I thought I knew pretty well what I was doing, but boy, I've learned a lot. Some great guys here. I've had the luxury of working with number 73 Jeremy Crandall, spotted a few races for me this year, and really enjoy his professionalism, and his knowledge is just unbelievable when it comes to NASCAR racing. Obviously there's a number of gentlemen that bring a lot of talent to the table, and it's just great to be able to get around them. And the respect. There's been a lot of respect. You have to drive around these guys. You have to get experience around these drivers. And it takes a long time, a lot of practices before each race each week, just so that we can try to put on a good show and make sure that guys get through these races. It's racing. We wreck. We have incidents. So it's all good. It's all fun, but it's racing.
Yes, sir. Thank you there, Judd. Real quick, I'm going to cover a couple more of these paint jobs we've got here in the field. We're looking at the number 66 of Jack Watts. He is in that Southeast Motorsports Chevy Camaro. He has pad on the back, people against distracted driving. We've also got David Wright, like we said earlier. He's in that Richard Petty sponsored paint scheme in the number 42 tonight. We've got, skipping a few guys, we got Mark McFadden in that number 67 Ford Mustang. He is in that Support Therabell Ford Mustang GT. Eric Stanford's in that Pepsi Ford Mustang GT. He has a little bit of right front damage. Ray Richard, we mentioned already, he's in that Pure Later Chevrolet Camaro. Andrew Kessler, he's in a sporty Ford Mustang GT, the Hooters Restaurants. We talked about that earlier. We got Chad Payne, always in that Coors Motorcraft Ford Mustang. And just cut me off when we get the restart here, Judd. Looks like we got Sean Kalis in that 45 McDonald's Mustang.
Yeah, you're good.
And we've also got James Somke, another Tony the Tiger Chevy Camaro Got Milk. He's back in 20th position. And we got quite a few other vehicles on pit road getting some damage repaired. Mark Jackson has still got some right front fender damage. He's had a tough race tonight in that Haviland Motor Oil Chevy Camaro number 3. Hopefully he'll be able to pull out a good finish here before the race is over.
Now, if memory serves me correctly, 51, Kyle Kammerer did not pit. 35, Gerald got a set of lefts and some gas. So, we will see what Kyle Kammerer can bring to the table on this restart.
Yes, sir, Judd. And the way those other drivers got off of pit road, like Curtis Young, I have a feeling that those drivers, they also only took 2 tires. I'm not sure if it was right sides or left sides, but they got out right behind Gerald Campbell. So already these drivers are playing the pit strategy card, and it'll just depend on who's got the best strategy so far. Can they go to the end of the race here on the fuel they've got, do you think, Judd?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Maybe 2 laps a gallon, I believe, something like that.
Yes, sir, and the pace car is in, and Kyle Kammerer gets a great jump in that number 51 Exxon machine. Going down the front stretch here. This is one of the longest front stretches in NASCAR, and he definitely has some comfortable positions in front of second and third place. Hopefully we get to this turn 1.
All right, man.
Caution
Caution is out.
Yeah, it looks like we've got the 78 and the 42 involved there. Unfortunately, it looks like David Wright has had more incidents than he wants to have tonight.
Yeah, we have an unhappy driver.
Yeah, things happen like this. I tell you what, it's a matter of knowing when the driver in front of you is going to get, onto the brake, and it's hard to know. But that's what experience will teach you, and racing around other drivers, that's something you got to learn. Go ahead, Judd.
Well, I'm watching this replay right now, and I hate using the excuse, but I'll be honest with you, 78 does not really touch 42. It's probably an aero issue there. These cars are very, very touchy with the air around them. So, and I've experienced it myself. I'm not going to say that 78 didn't have something to do with that, but it looks to me like 42 just got himself loose in the air.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
We have a little netcode thing we use, but I think that, the possibility's there that it might have happened.
Yeah, I tell you what we're going to do right now real quick, Judd. We're going to pull up one of our special drivers for a couple quick questions. Ray Richard, this is Robert and Judd in the broadcast booth. How's your race going tonight, and what do you expect for the end of the race?
Well, I'm keeping the fenders on it. That's a plus. I did tap the wall coming out of one once, but my guys pulled those fenders out pretty quick. It seems like we've got a few aggressive guys out here. I mean, there's been a couple 3-wides I've been involved in, and I've avoided, I think, 3 wrecks now, and I'm hoping for a clean and green to the end of the race. I mean, I think we can all be making on fuel from here on out. I just got to check that out. But I know we usually get about 28 to 30 laps out of green flag racing, so I'm hoping we get a nice, good, long stretch here.
Hey Ray, this is Judd. So I just wanted to check with you. What are you liking? What are you liking on this in these corners? Are you liking it in the middle there? Are you liking it out on the outside a little more? Do you like to get it down and let it drift out? What's working for you the best?
I think you're looking for advice. I think that's what it is. But to be honest with you, I personally don't know. I mean, you got to kind of adjust your line, obviously, with cars around you. But once I get in a line by myself, even front to back, turn 1. Excuse me a second. Got to get down a little bit here. We got a lucky dog coming. Now, turn 1, I kind of arc it in, but hold it down to the second groove and really ease through the throttle. So stay like 2 lanes off the bottom. It seems to work pretty good. Then roll back into it. And as you roll back into it, if you go too quick, obviously the rear end just wants to come out with you. So turn 2, though, right on the bottom. No question. I arc it right down immediately. And then kind of lift just before I go in, roll back immediately into the throttle, and I can get back into the throttle 3/4 off. But turn 3, that's the trickiest one. But you know as well as I do, yeah, you've got to be very patient with the throttle. What I've been doing is kind of keeping my right-hand tires on that fresh patch of asphalt that they've got. It seems to stick okay, but I can't touch that throttle till minimal over halfway through the turn. I mean, it just don't want to go nowhere from there on out. It just wants to go up towards the wall.
Right. She's pushing out, right? Well, hey, man, you're still, you got all 4 corners on that car. Looks good, checked you out. A little bit of damage on your right rear, but I don't think you have any issues, buddy. I would go for it. You got a whole car there? Get her done.
I think that I left my right rear back in turn 1 at one point in time against the wall. I'm sure you can look over here, you can find it. My partner in crime in here, Jeremy Crandall, unfortunately, he's been kind of talking to me, having a rough night. I guess he got caught up into a pretty bad incident, but he's back out here now. I think he's 20-something laps down, and I believe he's running 28th or 29th, so he's doing a good job kind of getting his points back a little bit.
Yeah, Jeremy's sitting 26. He is 20 laps down, but yeah, you're right. He's back on the track. Good to see Jeremy back out there fighting for it.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is a lot of these races, especially the points races, even like Rockingham, when we went there yesterday, it was a very tough track, but dude, you just got to take your time and use your head, but you can't give up. I mean, there's a couple guys that obviously left tonight. They kind of gave up. Their cars were still toast, but even like Jeremy, I mean, he waited 20 minutes before the repairs are done. He's back out and going, gaining points and gaining above what the guys have already gotten out of the cars.
Yep, 10-4, yep. I know last night was a rough one for me as well, but you and I got to race around each other, and it is a patience game. Both those tracks are very rhythm-type tracks, so we have to use our heads here.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate that, Ray. We're going to bring in Kyle Kammer. He's leading the race right now to see what his thoughts are on the race.
Thanks, Ray.
Kyle Kammer, this is Judd and Robert in the broadcast booth. You're sporting that beautiful Exxon 51 Ford Mustang GT. Kyle, how'd you get to the front, and what do you think your chances are for winning this race?
Well, I dropped to the back at the beginning just to try to avoid some of the messes that I thought could happen, and then I've played pit strategy to get myself up to the front here, and I was hoping we would go green the rest of the way because I think everybody was going to have to pit one more time no matter what. But now I think with this caution, that whole strategy may be out the window.
Oh, Kyle, did you get a chance to come in and get some tires?
I haven't got any tires. I'm probably going to have to pit about 8 laps into this green flag run here.
Okay, 10-4. Well, your car looks great. Looks like you're holding your own out there. That's great. You were working your way through this traffic, and you got some fresh air out in front of you. See if you can hold on to this thing.
Yeah, I think the tires behind me will probably eat me up. I just got to get a good restart and get out in front of them a bit, see if I can hold them off.
10-4. Well, hey, we'll let you go. Have a good finish, and we'll see you at the end.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir. Good luck, Kyle. All right, Judd, this is definitely going to be exciting. It does look like this caution may or may not have opened the window for these guys to go to the end of the race without stopping again for fuel, but I'm kind of not sure that's going to be the case.
Well, we only run a 75% fuel tank, so these guys have to do their math.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And while we do have a little bit more time, I'm going to do one more real quick Domino's driver profile. We have Eric Stanford in that number 24 Pepsi Ford Mustang GT. I tell you what, I'm looking at his car right now, and Eric has definitely got some left rear damage. He is running in 18th position. Looks like he started in 21st. He's made up a few spots. It's going to be tough, but Eric is in that 24. He is from Glenfield, New York. Eric's team is ES Motorsports. His normal regular sponsor is ES Billiards and Pepsi, and of course he is definitely sporting that Pepsi paint scheme tonight.
Yeah, 10-4, Robert. Yeah, Eric's a good driver. I really enjoy racing around him. He's very respectful and he's fast. So usually I'm looking at the Billiards logo on the back of his cars.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he is an actual billiards player or if that's just one of his sponsors. We'll have to ask him one day when we get a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like the cars are doubling up here for the restart. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this restart goes. I'll let you cover it, Judd.
Well, Kyle needs to get himself a really good jump here because Gerald, number 35, he's got fresher tires. There's no doubt he's going to get after him. And Curtis Young, sitting in third, he's kind of the bird dog here. He's going to be able to follow 51. This should be a good drag race down this front stretch here. Pace car's getting ready to pull off.
Green flag, green flag.
Here we go. Kyle gets a good jump. I think Gerald is sleeping on that one.
Yeah, that will definitely give Kyle Kammer a good opportunity. Go ahead.
You gotta watch this 35 jump into the bottom here. He's very good around his first turn 1 here.
And like you know, going into turn 1 here, looks like
a little push up, 3 wide. Yeah, 83's around, 62's around.
Yeah, looks like we've got one more caution. We'll bring up this replay as soon as we can, fans, and give you a quick update. This turn 1 has definitely been the trouble spot tonight, Judd. Why do you think it is such a trouble spot?
Well, there's no banking. I mean, there's really no help, and you cannot get down into the bottom. It's like it drops you down into a hole, and you're coming up this hill, and if you're on the gas, it just slings you around. It's tough, and you just got to be patient. Don't touch that gas pedal as bad as you want to. You're getting into that corner at 165, 70 miles an hour, but you can't touch that gas until about 145 to 150. Any more, you can forget it. You're going home.
Yeah, it looks to me on this replay, the 83 of Joe Johnson in that NOS Energy Toyota Camry.
Oh, that's bad.
He gets loose like you just talked about. The 62 of Ellery Queen trying to avoid him. Gets up into the side of the 67 of Mark McFadden. Unfortunately, that's going to put Ellery Queen with some damage from the 66. 44 is involved a little bit. We just talked to him. So some drivers with just minimal damage. But we are under the caution one more time.
Well, I just wanted to bring attention to everybody that the 98 has had a really nice rebound here. I know he got frustrated on that last couple cautions ago and got himself in the wall. He didn't bring the caution out, but his patience is paying off. I think he's going to be okay. Andy Kessler in the 98 Hooters car, Mustang.
Yes, sir. While we're talking about Andy real quick, one more Domino's driver profile. Andy is driving that number 98 Ford. Andy is from Belchertown, Massachusetts. His race team is Aegis Motorsports. His sponsors are Aegis, Chef Andy's Lobster Rolls, PowerTech Power Solutions. He has been in sim racing 5 years. He'd like to give special thanks to Dave Washington, Aegis Motorsports. And what paint job is he running tonight there, Judd?
He's running the throwback Hooters.
Exactly. Can't beat that.
And 35, 1917 stayed out, 98 stayed out. So Kyle had to give it up. He knew he needed some tires. He was going to be in trouble. So number 51 get himself some tires. And Gerald Campbell, 35. Let's see, 19, Tim B. Cox.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is a great opportunity. Unfortunate we've had another caution, but it's a great opportunity for these drivers to come down pit road, hopefully for the final time, to get 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, enough fuel for the end of the race, which could be 1.5, maybe 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel. And we'll just have to see how this pans out. It does lead up front after those pit stops. Who's in the lead here, Judd? It looks like our good friend Curtis Young might have inherited the lead there.
No, I think we got, right now I'm showing Gerald Campbell, number 35. I just want to give a quick shout out to the number 9. In our Coors throwback, Chad Payne. Chad and I had a run in tonight, but all good. I love Chad. Number 9, Coors. Mustang GT, good job. Hanging in there. That's my boy, Chad Payne, right there. You can pull a top 10 out of this thing. Whew. You did something good tonight.
I tell you what, we are going to bring Chad up into the broadcast booth just for a minute. Chad Payne in that number 9 Coors Light. This is Judd and Robert in the broadcast booth. How you doing tonight? And how's your race going?
I'm doing pretty good there, Robert. Race coming into play. Got up to 10th, surprisingly. A lot of cautions tonight.
Yes, sir, Chad. Go ahead, Judge. Go ahead.
You got that top 10, and I was just saying earlier that if you can get yourself into the top 10 and hold on to that to the end, you did yourself good tonight. That's a respectable finish for this racetrack and this car tonight.
Yeah, if I can hold that 10th or better, I'd be very happy.
Well, you know, it's a lot of patience here. These corners are just very unforgiving, so if you can hold on to that, boy, we'd be proud of you tonight. It'd be great to see you up there.
Thanks, Judd. Yeah, if I can just make it out of turn 3, I'll be all right.
Yeah, Chad, real quick, we know Memorial Day is coming up here upon us real quick. We know you're a great patriot for the United States of America. What would you like to tell the fans or remind the fans to remember as we come upon this very, very, very special and sometimes kind of take it for granted holiday, Memorial Day?
I'd just say support our troops and, raise that flag on Memorial Day, which is Monday.
Yes, sir, Chad. That is a great suggestion, fans. Make sure you've got your flag on your home, wherever you live. Make sure you put that up. That way everybody can see it. Thanks a lot, Chad, and good luck for the rest of the race.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, I tell you what, Judd, we've had quite a few different leaders tonight. I know Gerald Campbell looks like he's leading now. Let's pull him up real quick, get a quick word with him. Gerald Campbell, this is Robert and Judd in the broadcast booth. You are back in the lead. You led earlier tonight. What are your chances for winning this race? And we do want to give you a big shout out and thanks for sponsoring this $20 giveaway to the highest finishing throwback paint job. Gerald, the Premier Pioneer 200. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I feel like I had a better car than I actually expected, to be honest with you. I actually started on pit road for the beginning of the race, so I started dead last. I didn't feel comfortable with myself being around everyone. Then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I started working all the way up to the lead and took the lead. So I don't know. I feel like I have a good enough chance, like everyone else does, and rocking this cool Cherry Labonte paint scheme. So it's pretty fun out here. But if I win it, I'm not going to keep the money because that'd be selfish of me to be able to come and win my own sponsored race. If I win, we get another sponsored race. How's that sound?
That sounds great, Gerald. Go ahead, Judd. You had a question.
Yeah, Gerald, I was just noticing during your runs, you're one of the few cars that's able to get into one and just hold it down there. I know it's a little drift, but nonetheless, it's really looking impressive, buddy.
Oh, I appreciate that. Maybe after the race, I'll give you a little bit of a secret there. I didn't know it was a secret until, because it wasn't that, being able to run that line like that is not really fast for qualifying, and it's not very fast for the beginning runs. But on a long run, it just seems to keep the tires, and it just doesn't burn it up, which just allows me to be able to stay on that bottom groove. But knowing my luck, I'm going to jinx myself here in first turn. I'm going to go, I'm going to slide all the way to the wall, so.
Well, hey,
no jinxing myself. I'm having fun out here, and just glad to be racing for you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Joe. Good luck. We'll let you concentrate here. All right, Judd, I tell you what, hopefully we get a long green flag run here. Judd, I'll let you take the restart. We got a lot of fast drivers up front.
Okay, so we got Tim B. Cox in the 19 and Gary Sexton right behind him, teammates. 35 is going to get himself an opportunity. Pace car's off. And we are green.
It looks like the 35 of Gerald Campbell does get a good launch.
I do.
Yes, sir, that's absolutely right. Andrew is up to that third position. Looks like he started all the way back in 13th.
Andy really likes to run that high line. It's fast. I mean, I've ran it. It's fast. If you can hold it. Tim B. Cox, 19.
He is trying to make a move. He is trying to make a move.
A really good car, Robert. Tim's got a really good car.
Yeah, he's looking to the inside right now of Gerald Campbell. But like I said, picking your line through this curve is super important. Looks like Gerald is running on that newer asphalt section. And it does help him out there as they go down the long straightaway here. They are 3 wide behind him.
Oh boy, here we go.
We got Andrew Kessler,
Here we
Gary
go.
Sexton, and William Moore.
Here we go.
Who gets out of it and lets him get to the corner?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
It looks like we do still have a good 20 laps here. So these drivers are hopefully going to be able to watch their P's and Q's and do a little bit more give and take so they get a good finish here, the top 10 hopefully.
I told you 20 laps ago or so, keep an eye on that 58 McDonald's, William Moore. He's got a good little hot rod tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like right now he's getting a great run on the 17 of Gary Sexton. He just gives him a love tap to the back bumper, but he gets out of the gas so he gets to the corner without wrecking him, which is a really smart heads-up move on the 58 McDonald's machine. He will probably get another run here and try to get around him going down the front straight. Looks like Gary Sexton's going to give him the line up high, or he's just trying to break the draft.
Yep. Looks like he was breaking draft there.
And sometimes that's what you got to do is they dive into turn one. Looks like up to 185 miles an hour. I tell you what, this is exciting. Looks like we got side-by-side battles back here. Eric Stanford in that number 24 gets around Chad Payne in that 9. Chad has fallen back to the 10th position. We got side-by-side behind him, Donald Stewart and Mark Jackson.
Oh, Mark Jackson, number 3. He's blinking bad.
Yeah, it looks like he's having some technical issues there. Unfortunate for Mark Jackson. He has definitely had a lot of good runs.
He's stable now.
It looks like the 44. Yeah, this is a big gaggle for 13th, 12th, 11th. And Ray Richard looks low on the inside here, going down the long front stretch. Somebody's going to have to get out of it going into turn one, and Ray makes a smart move to do that.
Mark Jackson backed up a little bit too. He knew that it wasn't going to work, so smart move on his part.
Yes, looks like up front, we still have Gerald Campbell leading this race. We got Tim B. Cox was unable to make that pass and get around him. So it looks like Gerald Campbell has got a 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 car length lead here. Going through the corner on lap number 62. Gary Sexton looks like he's back in third in that 17. William E. Moore is making some moves. He is still trying to get around the 17 of Gary Sexton, but we still have a good 17 laps here, Judd. So really anybody in this top 5 can win it if we don't have a caution, and we do have a caution here. So we'll get the replay pulled up as soon as we can, fans. Looks like, as we go through the field, looks like the Mark McFadden in the 67, as well as Jeffrey Ford maybe in the 246. Actually, looks like the 246 was able to avoid that. Looks like Ellery Queen, unfortunately, in that 62. Had a little spin there, came down the grass. And from the looks of it, he was up there by himself. He just got a little bit loose. No contact at all, was able to control it. He did lock it down, but he had heavy contact with it, that inside retaining wall. He is going to pull it down pit road. Go ahead.
Yeah, 67 of Mark McFadden. He just lost it out of the corner, and he managed to save it and got himself back on track. So no damage there. But yeah, poor Jay, poor Ellery.
Yeah, you know how it is, Judd. You're a racer at heart. Sometimes you can have a really long bad luck streak. Unfortunately, Jace had a couple of good runs this year, but he's had more bad luck than good luck, as the case is with you on some of the races early in the season. But you've definitely bounced back, especially here in the Xfinity Series. Not talking about tonight, you had some bad luck, but you've moved yourself up to second in the points here, and you're having a pretty good rebound in the Truck Series as well.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Good guys, great guys to run around. Obviously I don't bring, the top-notch equipment to the racetrack. I do what I can, and like I said earlier, the guys are respectful. They understand that it could be any one of us at any given corner. So we just try to let everybody have some fun and race hard and try to win. That's what we're here to do. Everybody wants to win, so He's got 35. Gerald Campbell sitting in first place. Tim B. Cox holding second.
I think these guys are going to stay out with the tires they got, don't you?
Yeah, I'm thinking that the top 5 probably going to want to. They should have enough fuel at this point from the last stop they made.
Yeah, especially with these caution laps.
Looks
Again,
like they are definitely coming to the house. Yep, they're all coming. Not Curtis Young stays out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that's going to leave Curtis out with a little bit older tires. If you want to cover Gerald Campbell's pit stop real quick, if you're able to. Looks like Gerald is in his box.
He's taking right sides. He's taking 4 tires this time. Smart move there. We'll get him out, and he can race back to the front.
Yeah, I tell you what, with only 15 laps to go, it's going to be probably 14 or 13 with the restart. You might think that's not many laps to get 4 tires on your car, but you know as well as I do, Judd, this is a long 2.5-mile racetrack, and those 4 fresh rubber Goodyear Eagers are definitely going to help you out.
Oh, tires are a premium, absolutely a premium. I mean, you really got to have something to stick to these corners with, or you're in trouble. You know, the biggest thing is you can't get back in the gas soon enough, and guys will just overtake you coming off. They get a run, they get the speed, they get your draft, and before you know it, you're getting passed.
Yep, we saw that a lot early on in the race. If you get into the corner not perfect and you lose some momentum and the car behind you gets in a lot better than you do, that car is going to have the momentum coming off the corner, and it doesn't matter which corner here at the Tricky Triangle this occurs, the car behind you, if they've got the momentum, will definitely get around you.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you can catch a draft to your advantage.
So it looks like after those pit stops, Judd, if you'll go through the top 10 here for the restart.
Sure, we got Curtis Young, number 94, holding court. P1, Gerald Campbell, looks like we're going to cycle through these guys. I'm not sure. I think it's stuck now. So we have 51, Kyle Cameron back up there. 24, Mr. Stanford. He has fresher tires than Curtis by maybe 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, we're going to find out right now. Looks like Kyle Cameron stayed out as well, so we're going to have Curtis Young, Kyle Cameron. So we're going to have the 2 leaders, first and second, Curtis Young and Kyle Cameron, with a little bit older tires. So it's definitely going to make this interesting on the restart, with the drivers behind them with fresh rubber. Looks like in, like you said, in third, Eric Stanford, Donald Stewart, Jeff T. Martin, Ray Richard, Mark McFadden, Gerald Campbell. And Gerald's got a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, he does.
We've seen this on the real live NASCAR races here at Pocono. If you're back in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, if the leaders get a great jump and we don't have another caution, Gerald's going to have to have some luck on his side to get it up there to the front again, I'm afraid.
Well, there's a couple cars up here that have some pretty good damage that are going to be slower. If Gerald does his homework, he should be able to work himself at least a few more spots. We'll see what happens when he gets up to this top 5, but we'll give him a chance. We'll give him a shot at it. Ray Richard, number 44, he's holding up there at 6th. That's great. Good for Ray. I believe this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of Ray's home tracks.
Yes, he is from Mohawk, New York, which is not too far from Pocono. So it's going to be really interesting here for the restart. Looks like
like I said earlier, sorry, Robert. Donald Stewart, number 78, sitting there in 4th position. You know, he was sitting in the back for quite a while tonight. So let's see what he brings to the table here.
Yes, looks like Donald Stewart. He started back in 23rd. He has definitely made his way smartly up to the front. Another driver, Eric Stanford, in that Pepsi machine, started 21st. He's up to 3rd. We've also got Mark McFadden, that 67. Mark always seems to show up at the end of some of these races. He started 26th. He's up to 7th. Of course, Joel Cameron talked about him. Tim B. Cox started 25th. He's up to 9th. And we got Gary Sexton started 30s back to 10th, so Gary's got a lot of work to do to get back up to the front.
Now Gary and Tim E. Cox both, they got some really fast cars. So again, race fans, keep an eye on them.
Yes, sir, Judd. I'll let you take the restart here. Looks like we got one more corner. And these drivers are.
So we got,
go ahead.
We got Curtis mixing it up a little bit here. 94 is going to start on the outside, which is probably a pretty good. That's okay. That's probably a smart move. So Kyle's going to have some work cut out for him here to get into that bottom in the corner one to see if he can kind of keep Curtis honest here. All right, pace car's off. Here we go. Curtis is off. Good start for Curtis Young in the 94. Donald Stewart on the outside, 51 on the inside. 3 wide.
Yeah, looks like it's 3 wide going into turn number 1. Hopefully some of these guys will back out of it a little bit.
If Mark McFadden can hold it down there, he's going to come off on the really good end of this stick here. Probably. No, we got Gerald Campbell spinning. Oh!
Looks like Mark McFadden is going to lose 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, but he does keep it out of the traffic. And as they go into turn number 2, it's going to be another tricky triangle.
Yeah.
And fans, we will definitely get that replay pulled up. It looks like, I'm pulling right now, we got a car up in the air. It could be,
I just caught a glimpse. I gotta find the right cars here.
Oh, we got Jeff T. Martin, Mark Jackson, the 07 of Tyler Chalk.
So it looks like the 15 is the one that's doing airborne lessons here.
Yeah, looks like Jeff T. Martin got in there a little bit hot.
Oh, yep, he just got himself loose. Yeah. Oh, that's tough on Jeff. He practiced a lot this week, boy. He really put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, he was having a great run before that happened.
Yeah, poor Mark Jackson. He got involved in that. No fault of his own.
Yeah, and his car has definitely got some serious damage. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back out there and be competitive.
Nah, the race is over for him. I'm sorry, but a few of these cars are going to be sitting in the pits with a checkered flag.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's going to mix up the results here, and it's also going to mix up the point standings a little bit, I'm afraid. Unfortunate for you, like we said earlier, you had issues earlier, so it's going to give you kind of a knock in the points.
Yep.
And some of these other drivers as well. So Judd, who would be your pick to win this race? At this point, we're only going to have about 10 lap shootout to go. And some of these drivers are able to keep it clean here.
I was watching the play. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
24 came together, and there's just not enough real estate in that first bottom line there.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Andrew Kessler in that 98 has kept his car clean since earlier in the race.
Curtis has got a clean car, 94. If he can keep himself disciplined, he's probably going to be our winner tonight. Now, 51, yeah, if he's got himself a good set of tires under him, he could make it challenge here. Donald Stewart, we'll see what happens here. He's got a little right front damage, so it's not going to help him on the straightaways. That's the problem. He's going to lose a little bit of speed to Curtis. So 51 is going to be, depending on what Curtis does for the restart, he could be starting on the inside, and Donald will be behind Curtis. So we'll see what these guys decide to do. Ray Richards sitting in 4th. Really good run for Ray.
Yep, and Gary Sexton has moved himself up to 5th on that short run.
What did we say last day? He was starting what was he in 10th when we took the green? So he's moved up 5 spots in a couple laps.
Yeah, I tell you what, those fresh Goodyear Eagle tires do make a big difference. So we're going to have Curtis Young, because I know all these drivers up front are staying out. Donald Stewart, Kyle Kammerer, Ray Richer. He's having a great run tonight. He's up to 4th.
Yeah.
Gary Sexton 5th. We just mentioned him. Is that Timby?
Cox. Yep. Timby Cox at number 19.
Yep. He's up to 6th. We got Eric Stanford in 7th with a little bit of damage. Andrew Kessler having a good run. He's up to 8th. Joe Johnson, he's in 9th. He's had a couple of issues here, including a spin there, but he has recovered.
Well, I'm really happy for Joe, Robert, because Rob, you know, he works hard at it. He brings good equipment to the racetracks. He has good qualifying, and he seems to just find problems in our races, just like a lot of us do. But you know, Joe's a good driver, and he brings a really good team. Hopefully, he gets himself a good finish here tonight.
Yeah, speaking about Joe, I'm looking for the Domino's driver profile. I have it right here. Joe Johnson. He is driving that number 83. He is from Florida. His team is U.S. Carolina. His sponsors are iWraps. That's what he normally runs, although tonight looks like he's in that NOS Energy Toyota. He has been in iRacing for 4 years. And actually, excuse me, his team is Johnson Lawler Motorsports. So it's good to see Joe having a good run tonight.
Yeah, I actually employed Joe for a paint job for myself. He was kind enough to put a paint job up for one of the races that we did earlier this year. So it was enjoyable that I actually got picked and I was able to do some work with Joe. Let's see, we got Chad Payne back here, Nick Reynolds sitting there with just 8 laps to go. So Nick's got himself up to the top 10 tonight. Started 27th, folks. Mark McFadden's, he's held his own, sitting there in 12th. Ivan hanging in there in 13th. Sean Kalis, 14th. Jack Watson, the 66. Top 15 guy. Let's see what Jack can bring to the table. He's got himself a pretty good little hot rod most of the time, so I'm not sure what kind of condition his car's in, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I tell you what, the last few laps are going to be exciting, and hopefully we'll get us a first-time winner tonight, Jud.
That'd be great. That'd be wonderful.
And of course, these drivers are going to try to get into turn 1 the best they can.
I'm really torn between the 94 and the 17. I know these guys real well. I work with them all week long, and God, it'd be a really good race to see the end.
Yeah, we got some other drivers that could make their first win. Ray Richer, it'd be great to see him get a win. It'd also be really good to see Joe Johnson win again. And Donald Stewart, I think he hasn't won yet in the Domino's TYJ Racing Series.
Right.
So I'm gonna let you take this restart, and hopefully we have a great one.
10-4. You know, race fans looking around the track, I'm sure you're seeing a lot what I'm seeing, and boy, some of these cars are pretty beat up, so this is going to be an attrition situation. Let's see what kind of horsepower these guys have, really what they've got in the bank now. There's no more holding back. We got 7 laps to go. We come to the green.
That's what it looks like.
Race cars coming in. We're off. Curtis Young got himself a jump, not big as one as he had last time. Donald Stewart holding it. He's got himself a nice little run on the inside.
Yep, well, we got 78 right beside it, or actually right beside the 44.
Yeah, Ray Richards going to bring it down on him. Nice work. Really good work. Donald's. Oh, Curtis loses it. Oh, we're losing.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Yeah, I tell you what, Curtis lost that all on his own, it looks like. And then behind him,
Holds P1. It looks like he's going to grab P1.
yeah, it definitely looks like. We'll get that replay pulled up real quick. It looks like the 51 just got into the 98 there. And it definitely took out some other drivers. Judd, I'm going to go over the restart on that last one real quick if you want to go over what happened here real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked kind of to me like 51 checked up a little bit more than the 98 was expecting. And Curtis Young went around, and then 51 came up, just kind of got into the side, driver's side of the 98. Took him off track, but it looks like Andy's going to... Oh, poor Andy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to get a restart here or not.
Yeah, we're going to get maybe 2 to go. '51 into the 98.
Yes, sir, Judd. So this restart is going to be very interesting.
Well, these guys are gonna, they're gonna try. I mean, I can guarantee you, we always do. But the guys that are sitting 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 4th, 5th, 6th, they're gonna push it. Tim, he's gonna try to get the biggest lead when that green comes out that he's ever had in his life. And he's hoping that he can just run it. Because I'll be honest with you, fresh air out here right now is really important. And Donald Stewart in the 78, the leader dictates when we go. We don't go on green, we go when the leader goes. So we'll see what Donald can put to the 19's car and see if he can battle or not.
Yes, sir. Donald has definitely kept it up front, or at least here in the end of the race. Are you able to see the sponsorship on his car on that 78?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Looks like. But the 19's definitely got the preferred position.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the 19's going to take the outside. I mean, it's just the smart way to go. You get a lead, you get the whole corner to yourself. So if Donald can get a good start with the 19 of Tim B. Cox, then we got ourselves a drag race going into 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping for. And I can definitely tell you we've had some picks tonight. And you just have to stay tuned to see who has picked the winner.
Yeah, 10-4. Well, I got one car left. Maybe I jinxed Curtis Young. I hope I didn't, but I was hoping for him. We'll see what the 17 can do.
Yep. So some other drivers, just to pay attention, Ray Richer, I think he's moved up to 3rd, and Gary Sexton at 17 has moved up to 4th. So we're definitely going to have some drivers battling it out here with these last couple of laps to try to get this win.
Ray and that's funny. Ray just yelled my name out. So Ray is the kind of driver that will. He's extremely respectful. He will give. I want to see Ray get up there and battle with these boys right now.
Well, Ray can do it. He has got some real-world racing experience. He's definitely shown he's got a lot of speed every single track we go to here in Domino's TYJ Racing. So I'm pulling for all these drivers. I cannot be biased, unfortunately, but it would definitely make me happy to see Ray get his first win. And Judd, if you weren't there in the back, I'd be happy to see you get your first win, but you'll have many more chances.
Oh, it's just enjoyable to get out there and do it. It really is. It's a lot of fun, and it's exciting. I mean, it is a sim in the sense, but I'll tell you what, you walk away from some of these races, you're sweating bad, your arms hurt, your legs hurt. It gives you a workout, no doubt about it.
It looks like the lights are out on the pace car here, and I'll take this restart, Judd, and I'll let you concentrate here on getting the best finish you can get. So it definitely looks like Tim B. Cox will be the leader. We're going to have Donald Stewart 2nd, Gary Sexton 4th, Ray Richer 3rd, Nick Reynolds is all the way up to 5th, Eric Stanford's in 7th, Chad Payne's up to 9th. He's having a great run tonight in that Coors Light machine. And Gerald Campbell is still back in 12th with those new tires from earlier. Yeah, I really think Gerald he got those new tires, but he has not been able to make a lot out of them so far.
Yeah, it's he's got himself mired back there pretty far. That's going to be tough to make up all them positions in just 2 laps. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, he can at least hopefully gain a couple spots. That's all you can ask him to do here at this point. I'm not sure I mentioned, but we do have Ivan Garcia up to 10th. He started back in 30th, so hopefully he can keep it straight here for the restart and get a good finish himself. Looks like the pace car is coming off of turn 4. Oh, excuse me, I mean turn 3. We do not have a turn 4. Pace car is in. It looks like Tim B. Cox is getting a great start here. And he's definitely getting some heat here by the looks like the 17 of Gary Sexton has moved all the way up.
Yeah,
to the 2nd position.
They're going to work together on this, and Tim's going to fight him. Gary's going.
Yep. Gary's going to try to make the move on the outside here. Going into the corner, and they are side by side for 3rd and 4th.
We got spinners in the back.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
So Tim B. Cox is going to get himself a win tonight.
Yes, he will. We'll pull the replay there real quick. And we've got one excited Tim B. Cox for the win there. And we'll get the replay pulled up real quick.
78, Donald Stewart holds 3rd. That's pretty cool. Good job.
So it looks like we're going to have Tim B. Cox winning this race. They will finish this under green, looks like.
Yellow.
That's what I mean, excuse me, under yellow, under caution.
And Joe Johnson's going to bring home a 4th place. Good job for Joe, man.
Yes, sir. Who was involved in that caution, Judd? Did you see it?
I don't know. I'm too excited, man. I'm watching the front.
One more time there. Gotcha. I think, sir, it looks like the 66 was involved in that caution. But the race is over, basically, once they finish this last lap.
Yeah, these guys have to, they have to maintain the speed, and they also, they don't want to run out of fuel. I don't think anybody's going to run out of fuel, but you got to make it all the way to the end.
Yeah, they sure will have to.
I'm sure that TV Cox is squirming in that cockpit right now.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like the 66 part of that caution, but we have the, looks like a first-time winner in TV Cox. That is definitely going to be exciting here.
Yeah, you might want to throw some earplugs in. Tim is going to be pretty excited, I think.
Yeah, good for him. That's very exciting.
Yeah, Tim works really, really hard on his racecraft. He spends a lot of time practicing, so yeah, he's earned it. Pocono Raceway is not an easy racetrack by any means, so it's definitely challenging. And to get yourself even a top 15 with the field that we bring, you're holding your own there. Top 10, even better. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's been real exciting. And unfortunately, fans, we did have a lot of cautions here tonight. So it's pretty interesting. Judd, if you want.
It works. It works. The cautions, you know, they're long. They're over 2 minutes long in these cars. The pace speed's 70 miles an hour, I believe. And, you know, it can get a little frustrating sometimes, but you work your gas and you just try to keep your tires from, you know, getting too rubbed up. Nick Reynolds got himself a nice finish tonight. Got himself a 6th, it looks like. 5th, they're showing Nick Reynolds 5th, number 10. Ray Richards 6th. Mark McFadden 67 gets himself a nice 7th place finish. Eric Stanford pulling up 8th. Gerald Campbell got himself back into the top 10 with a 9th place finish. And Chad Payne holding on to the top 10. Great job for Chad tonight.
Yes, that was actually good for him. And if you go through the rest of the finishing order there, Judd, I'm going to get these guys ready for interviews.
10-4. Andy Kessler, number 98, gets himself an 11th place finish. Curtis Young in the 94, 12th. Jack Watts in the 66. Looks like he's going to have that 13th place finish for the night. David Wright in the 42. STP car, 14th. James Somke in the number 1. Going to get himself a top 15. Sean Kalis in the 45, 16th. Kyle Cameron, the number 51. I thought Kyle was going to have himself a better finish. Obviously some issues there tonight towards the end of the race and had a little incident, but top 16, top 17. Ivan Garcia, the 072. Great run for Ivan tonight. Really, really proud of Ivan. Stayed on the lead lap, got himself a top 18. That's great. Jeffrey Ford will be our first car, 4 laps down, finishing 19th. Ellery Queen, the 62, gets himself a top 20 finish. So, William E. Moore in the 58, 21. Jeff Martin, 22. Mark Jackson, 23rd. Poor Mark. Oh, tough night for Mark, the number 3. Tyler Chalk will get you a 24. Jeremy Crandall, 25th. 77. Craig Lehrman, 26th. Kyle Charpentier in the 003, 27th. 81, Shane Paris, he had a rough night. He'll get a 28. William Davis, the number 11, 29th. Josh Bonwell, number 56, 30th. Myself, number 85, 31st. Yay. Gary Weston, number 14, will round out the top 32 in the race tonight.
Hey, I appreciate that, Judd. So that is definitely a great win for Tim B. Cox. If you don't mind, I'm going to pull up the third place finisher here for you to interview real quick.
Sure.
That will be Donald Stewart.
Donald Judd here. How you doing, buddy? We talked earlier tonight. What a finish. Great job, man. What was it like to make it through all those 80 laps tonight?
Yeah, it was a tough race tonight there, Judd. But you know, I kept hearing your little voice in the back of my head. Just hang in there, buddy. Just hang in there, buddy. And that's what I did. I just hung in there, man. And look at there, I got third.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier, and we were talking about the patience part of this, you know, just knowing that how bad we as racers, you know, we want to get on that loud pedal as fast as we can, but we know that you just got to be patient with this racetrack, and it'll serve you. And look what it did. It delivered you a third-place finish, buddy. Excellent job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the setup was really loose tonight. You couldn't get on that pedal if you were turning. If you were turning, you had to be real careful.
Yeah, 10-4, and it was tough. A lot of drivers were struggling with it. They wanted to get that position so bad.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Domino's Pizza for putting all this on for us, and Michael D'Amico there for broadcasting all this stuff for us, and Robert McFarland for everything he does for the league and all that, and all the drivers, man. It's just an awesome league, and tonight is not the talent that this league has. It was showed tonight. It was just the setup. It was not anything to reflect on the drivers.
Yeah, Donald, awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, you know, we really appreciate having you here, and I know that you know, you're kind of getting used to some of these drivers. You haven't been around them too long, but you're fitting in real well, and you know, you're showing your strengths, and it's just a real good time to have all these great drivers. And you're right, this setup was really challenging for everybody. So you guys that were able to finish up front, real nice job.
Thank you, Bob. And I'd like to tell Tim Cox there a good win on his win there.
Well, we're all putting our earplugs in because we know Tim is super excited for his first win in the Domino's TYJ Racing League. So we're all getting ready for that one.
Yeah, you should have heard him hollering when he came across the line. He's excited.
That's great. That's awesome. And I know Gary was pushing him too. He was working him. He was going to make him earn that win. So
yeah,
good job.
They blew me away on that last reset. They got me on that last reset. That last restart, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we were watching you, and it was like, yeah, you didn't have much help there.
All right, guys, good job. You have a good night.
Yes, sir. Take care of Donald.
Good night.
And now we're going to bring our second place finisher in the booth, Gary Sexton. This is Robert and Judd in the booth. Congratulations on a great win there. You almost had a great second place finish. You almost had the win there. You definitely moved up the field there in the last, 5-10 laps, even with the cautions. You had new tires. How did you get from, I think you restarted back 2 cautions earlier in 7th, 8th, or 9th or something. You made it all the way up to second. How'd you do it, Gary?
Yeah, those fresh tires, the second to last restart, restarted in, I believe, 10th.
Yep.
And then got up to 4th behind Tim. Yeah, you know, Tim's my teammate, so congratulations to him. That was a hard-fought win by him, but you know, I was going to race him real hard. We were kind of joking with each other on the radio. I love this track. It's about an hour from where I grew up. You know, it's a shame we had to run most of the race under caution. I wish that wasn't the case. But, you know, it is tricky. And then with this new aero package, you know, it was all about just, you know, being easy on the throttle and maintaining your tires and just staying in front of the trouble, you know, and putting yourself in, make smart decisions. You know, you can run too wide through the tunnel turn, but you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't do that kind of stuff at the beginning of the race. And yeah, that's how I ended up second. It was a good run. I just wish we could have finished on the green.
Well, you know, Gary, this is Judd. I was watching you during practice, and obviously, you know what you're doing out here. And Robert asked me earlier in the race, he's like, well, Joe, who do you think, you know, we'll let you take a pick. So I threw your name in the hat. I did throw your name in the hat. It's on the broadcast. You'll know that I picked you and I picked Curtis Young, and I knew that between the two of you, if we could get you two up front, we could have a battle. But Tim B. Cox, wow, what a run. And I watched you guys. I watched you battle him. It was just that's fun. Really good job on that team's part tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. Appreciate the shout out there. It's definitely Tim's best track too. I'm sure he'll say that in his interview. You know, these are the kind of tracks that my team CCR really strives in. You know, the ones that you really got to drive them. It's not just wide open all the way around. And I'm glad to see Tim get a win. Will's got a win for CCR, and now it's my turn, hopefully.
Right on, brother. Right on. Well, hey, who do you want to thank? Give a shout out.
Yeah, thank my team, CCR, Tim Cox, Will Davis, Shane Parrish, and I think Joe Johnson's now joining us. Thank you guys, Domino's, Robert, definitely you, Judd. I know you've helped me a lot over the season, get faster, and help me get up here where I am now. And thank my family, my girlfriend, and everybody that watches and votes for me. And yeah.
Awesome, buddy. All right. Well, hey, go enjoy. Congratulations.
10-4, thank you.
Yes, sir. And now we're going to let Judd interview our winner. Tim B. Cox gets his first win. Judd, take your time and enjoy this interview.
All right, Tim, we're waiting. Go ahead. we were expecting a whole bunch of screaming and hollering, buddy. We all put our earbuds in, man.
Man, I tell you, dude, I really didn't want to come here and scream because I know Mark Jackson's already got that covered. But you know, I'm so excited for this win, man. This is my first ever broadcast to win, and I'm so proud to share it with All Pro Broadcasting and you guys up in there in the booth. And Team CCR 1-2. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, that was great. We just spoke with Gary, and he's super proud of you, and you definitely earned it tonight, buddy. One of your better tracks, I'm sure, and you guys did a lot of work this week. Tell us kind of how you figured out this track and what got you to be able to maintain, because you've been up front most of the night, so give us a little insight.
Well, I actually started back in 25th, and it was really my own fault because I started back there. I just couldn't get a good lap in, and I'd only run like 10 or 12 practice laps here, so I just spent most of my time just learning the track and where I can and can't get on the throttle at, and you know, it was just basically a learning race for me all race.
Wow. Okay. Well, we were kind of under the impression that this was one of your better tracks, so that's even better to know that a guy can come out here and, you know, you spend as much time as you can and you get what you get. Look at this, you got yourself a win, buddy.
Absolutely, anybody's got a chance to win out here, and you know, and I do love Pocono. The track's fun. I love to race Pocono, but this just makes it even more great, man.
Well, hey, why don't you give some shout outs real quick, and we'll get a couple more questions at you.
Well, like I said, give a shout out to All Pro Broadcasting, especially Robert there, Dominus TYJ for putting this on. Gary Sexton, Will Davis. Will Davis didn't really have the night he wanted to. He got taken out early. You know, all my teammates at CCR, Shane Parrish, and all those guys up there.
Yeah, 10-4. You know, you got Joe Johnson too. I think Joe ended up getting himself a 4th place finish tonight. I think he's one of your newer teammates, is he not?
Yeah, well, he is. You know, he just joined us this week, and we almost made it 1-2-3 tonight there.
Yeah, you guys were just dominant, really looking good. Robert, I don't know, do you have anything else for Tim? We're going to go let him celebrate.
No, congratulations there, Tim. We're really proud of you, and go celebrate and have a great weekend.
Yep, thanks, guys. See you guys next week.
All right, thanks, Tim.
All right, Judd, last comments. What do you think about this race? Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of cautions. I do want to mention we did have a pizza winner, Tony Haddock from Knoxville, Tennessee. Was able to win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza by picking Tim B. Cox. I never thought you got Judd on the race.
Well, I'm glad somebody got to win a pizza tonight. That's wonderful. We got a first-time winner, and somebody trusted that this guy was going to pull it off. So that's great news. You know, overall, coming in here as a driver tonight, that I had high hopes because I've been here and I've raced hard with drivers that I didn't even know, and I was able to get myself a decent finish. Now, granted, you know, things happen, and I just didn't have the right equipment under me tonight. I just wasn't real comfortable on top of the track. I just didn't like it. So I'm sure there's a number of drivers that will have some sort of complaint about what we brought to the track tonight, but nonetheless, guys, it's a really difficult track. You have to be extremely disciplined with your throttle, and you know, we've got drivers that can run this track like closing their eyes. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good night.
Yeah, well, thank you, Judd. It was a lot of fun here tonight. Again, fans, we do want to wish all of you a very happy Memorial Day. We want to give a big shout out and thanks to Michael D'Amico with All Pro Broadcasting. So for Judd Danielson, Michael D'Amico, myself, Robert McFarland, thanks for joining us, fans. You have a great weekend, and we will see you soon.